Hello Envy UK, it's Pete here. Welcome to the channel and glad to have your company. Thank you ever so much for viewing. What we're going to do is going to have a look at some of the fallout based on JD Vance's comments about the European European defence. Farage has picked up, he's thrown one back across the pond at JD Vance. The left-wing media are in meltdown. We're going to go into it, have a look at them clips and show you all about it. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back and let's get straight into it. So what's caused the fracas in the UK over the last day? This is what it is. Let's take a look.
The minerals deal would have provided the monies to rebuild their country and a strong U.S. presence and maybe European troops as well.
And this is an important part of it. The president knows that, look, if you want real security guarantees, if you want to actually ensure that Vladimir Putin does not invade Ukraine again, the very best security guarantee is to give Americans economic upside in the future of Ukraine. That is a way better security guarantee than 20,000 troops from some random country that hasn't fought a war in 30 or 40 years. The security guarantee and also the economic guarantee for Ukraine is to rebuild the country and ensure that America has a long-term interest. You're not going to do that if you come to the Oval Office, insult the president, and refuse to follow his plan for peace.
Too true. Absolutely. And that will be on the fallout of last Friday's. If you check this video out here, that will show you what he's talking about, the trip to the White House where they felt they were insulted by President Zelensky of the Ukraine, who was there literally to sign a ceremonial deal on a mineral project, which is what JD Vance is talking about. And special thanks to Hannity and his team at Fox News. Hannity being my favourite news presenter of all time. Do check out Hannity's show on Fox News. Highly recommended. And thank you very much for lending me this clip. So get back on point. The opener of that clip, JD Vance says the biggest security guarantee you can have is by having Americans working on the province of Ukraine. Therefore, that's a deterrent for Russia to attack, because you know what the return spring comes with, a big fist from the America. Anyway, that has caused a massive fallout amongst the left-wing media, the mainstream media, the liberals. They're all falling over themselves. And Nigel Farage, I'm shocked, has waded into this. I think he's got this wrong. You know, I don't think for one moment JD Vance is dismissing the potential strength of our armies or the fact that we haven't fought in a war, because we were right there in Afghanistan, right alongside America when they activated Article 5 to go after the Taliban following the 9/11 attacks. Tragic. The hearts go out to everyone who is touched by that event. That was horrific. But yeah, so I've got agency in this subject because my brother was in Afghanistan with the British Army and got shot by the Taliban. He got shot in the neck. It went through his lung, clipped his liver and shattered a few ribs on the way out of the side. Fortunately, he had an entry and exit wound. So yes, we have been to war. So what does he mean? I'll tell you what, let's hear Nigel Farage's summarisation of this situation.
It's the Vice President of the United States, seeming to suggest that we're just a random country that hasn't fought a war in 30, 40 years. Surely that is a massive insult to those who lost their lives in Afghanistan and Iraq.
JD Vance is wrong. Wrong. For 20 years in Afghanistan, pro rata, our size against America's, we spent the same amount of money, we put the same number of men and women in, and we suffered the same losses. We stood by America all through those 20 years, putting in exactly the same contribution. And all right, they may be 6 times bigger, but we did our bit. So on this one, JD is wrong.
And how much, just in terms of defence spending, how far would you go if you were in government? We're talking about 3% sort of down the line next parliament. Is that enough if we're going to apparently have to do the heavy lifting?
Well, you know, if you look at the reform contract with the people last year, Starmer's now copied that, I'm pleased to say. But I think the real truth is the world is such a dangerous place. We're going to have to go further and faster. There's no question about it.
And how does it make you feel when Keir Starmer stands up in Parliament and says that you're fawning over Putin and that reform is fawning over Putin?
Well, it's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, Putin visited this country in 2012 and went into Downing Street. A few years before that, the Labour government gave him a state visit with a white tie banquet at Buckingham Palace. We have been totally opposed to what Putin has done from the very start. The only difference between me and the other party leaders over the last few years is they've been pro-war and I've been more realistic and been pro-peace.
Okay, and just on the issue of a state visit, I mean, have you been surprised at how many people have said we shouldn't roll out the red carpet for Donald Trump?
Okay, we'll leave it there from Nigel. And thank you, Emily, from GB News, who's the reporter behind the microphone there. Fantastic channel. Check that out, GB News. Yeah, I think Nigel is right to be upset. I don't think Nigel has got this in context. I think that JD Vance is saying more to the point, not the fact about the wars, but more to the point about our military capability, because our military capability at the moment, you can fit the the Royal Air Force for those abroad, the Royal Navy and the British Army, all three parts of our military. You can fit them into Wembley Stadium and have space. Oh, and the tanks, by the way. You can get all the tanks and the personnel into Wembley and have space. Wembley Stadium, that is, for anyone who's not familiar with the term Wembley. It's Wembley Football Stadium. That's not a good look. That's not a good look when our whole national defence fits within a football stadium. That's what JD Vance is saying. How can Europe go up against the bear being Russian, and come out on top? You just can't do it. Even if we have a coalition of us, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, I don't know, whoever else, the coalition of the willing, you still haven't got enough firepower, money, or personnel to deliver the power punch to Russia, to put them on the back foot. You haven't got it. And that's what JD Vance, in my opinion, is saying. We haven't fought a war in 20, 30, 40 years. He's talking about a significant war. He's not talking anything other like a UN peacekeeping deal or an exercise in Norway. He's talking about a full-on global scale, protect your borders. We can't even stop boats coming in here, let alone Scud missiles or whatever missiles they've got coming in from Russia. That's the point. Anyway, it's all a moot point, because I'm just going to put it up on the screen now. Here. This has come in from President Zelensky. So it says, I'd like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. None of us wants an endless war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible and bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. My team and I stand ready to work under the President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We're ready to work fast to end the war. The first stages could be the release of the prisoners and the truce in the sky. Ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately. If Russia can do the same, if Russia will do the same, then we want to move very fast through all the next stages and to work with the US to agree a strong final deal. We do really value how much the Americans have done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence, and we remember the moment when things changed when President Trump provided Ukraine with the javelins. We are grateful for this. Our meeting on Washington's at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It was regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation with communication to be constructive. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign at any time and in any convenient format. We see this agreement as a step forward toward greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively. Now, that was published yesterday at 3:40. Unfortunately, I was pretty ill most of the last couple of days. Managed to scrape yesterday's video out from my deathbed, and today I look at this and it's got probably 26 million views now by the time of me reading this to you. So I think this is positive. Following this announcement, Donald Trump had his speech to Congress at the Senate last night, and this was what he brought. He said he brought the start of peace, and I believe him. I think he's onto a winner. So JD Vance, you made some flippant comments. For Nigel, I think you might have took it out of context. I think the comments from JD Vance were a little bit flippant, a little bit careless and clumsy. I don't think that he meant what Nigel has taken his concept to be, and I definitely think that he has the best interest of the West deep down at heart. So let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, I'm talking about this from my own experience, sharing with you my brother's experience in Afghanistan and the injuries he sustained. He's made a full recovery and he's fitter than the butcher's dog now, so he's all good. But there's people that didn't make it. There's over 400 UK personnel that died. Keir Starmer at today's Prime Minister's questions started an emotional attack back on the White House by reading out a number of fallen personnel. Rest in peace, and our condolences to the families of those soldiers that were killed in the methods that he described. So I think that was kind of like a shot across the brow back to the White House that we have lost. We have paid the highest price. These guys and these girls, they give their lives. They paid the highest price and died with honor. Right. Anyway, composure, Pete. Whew, getting a bit emotional. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to let you leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of this. Tell me what you think of Farage. Tell me what you think of Vance. But before you do that, please like, share and comment on. Please like and share the video. It helps us get it out there. I could use some more subscribers. I've got a target to get to 1,000 by May. So if you can help me out, it'd be amazing. All the best. This is Pete from MV UK.